you guys? My name's Joelle, and if you clicked on this video, you are probably wondering how to become a more effective studier slash worker. I am a senior at Dartmouth. I make weekly videos on lifestyle, college, beauty, all that sort of thing, and I am really excited to be able to partner with Jord Watches to bring you guys this video on how to be the academic weapon that you've always dreamt of being. I know it might be a little after finals period for some of you guys, but for people like me who are on the quarter system, we're right in the thick of it and really trying to grind everything out before the quarter ends. So like I said, this video is in partnership with Jord Watches, and they gifted me this beautiful, lovely watch, and I personally really like analog watches to help keep me on schedule because I pack my day down to the last minute, and not having to look at my phone but being able to make sure that I am where I need to be at the right time is essential. Jord makes a huge range of really beautiful watches. I really appreciate how they're super conscientious of how they source their materials. They use a lot of beautiful natural materials. The face of my watch is made out of marble, but they have a lot of really nice wooden watches and they really mix and match materials in a super innovative way. On the other hand, if you're a big Apple Watch person, they make some really beautiful, sustainably sourced Apple Watch bands, and if you look at the site, you can probably tell they cost a pretty penny, but they've been so generous as to offer you guys a giveaway for $100 towards a watch, and you can enter that just by clicking the link down below in my description and hopefully be able to score yourself a sick new watch or a gift for a friend or family member. But yeah, I started wearing an analog watch 2 years ago, the end of my sophomore year of college. So not only am I able to keep time while staying off my phone, but it also helps elevate any outfit, in my opinion. But anyways, on to what you guys are really here for, my study tips. In terms of when to study, I actually do not alter my life schedule too much around my studies. I put my studies in where it works for me. I still really value my time to eat, sleep, and work out. And yes, a lot of times I do end up eating while working, but I don't skip meals for the sake of working. I really try to take care of my body, and I understand that I will get my best work done if I am fed, if I have slept, and if I'm not super groggy. Working out is a great way to release some endorphins to be able to be more productive. So I'd highly recommend trying to build that into your schedule and trying to take care of yourself so that you are able to perform. I know that sounds like a luxury, but trust me, my quality of work and productivity has gone up so much since I started getting into a healthy cycle of sleeping and eating. Tip number 2 is I have a day-by-day plan where I parse out when I'm going to get chunks of work done. That really forces me to say, I have this much time to do an assignment, all my other time is filled. So rather than procrastinating and leaving it off to the last second and then letting the crunch time settle in, the crunch time hits immediately. Procrastination can often be led to by feeling overwhelmed or intimidated by an assignment that you have to do. So I find it really helpful to parse out my assignments into smaller bite-sized chunks so that I know I can get done in a certain amount of time. So I'm very realistic with myself. I start things really early, but set deadlines for myself so that I feel that impending pressure of getting something done, because I know that if I end up behind, then I'm screwing myself. So if you're someone that's motivated by sharp deadlines and really having things at the last minute, try to trigger that sense of stress and productivity, I guess, but to a lesser degree by setting your own deadlines. And along those lines, I write down everything that I have to do in a day. And for me at least, having a written schedule and a written to-do list allows me to form really healthy habits of wanting to get everything done on that list, so that I can have like the satisfying scratching it out really aggressively in my planner. And that actually helps create like this positive feedback loop of rewarding my productivity with something cathartic. As weird as that sounds, I'm not even kidding. Another thing is that I feel like people nowadays try to read on laptops and on screens so much more than they used to, but like statistically, it's not as effective and doesn't sink into your brain as well as reading on paper. I don't know what it is, honestly, about it, but for me that's very true. So I actually print all my readings, definitely recycle them after, but I like to mark them up. I make notes because of physical movement, of interacting with the content that I'm trying to absorb, for me, helps create memory clues somehow of remembering writing a note or highlighting something. And along with that, writing physical notes is so much more effective to me than typing out notes, just to minimize the number of screens in my life. The next thing is that you really want to be strategic with your study spaces. You have to really be honest with yourself about the type of person that you are, and whether the work that you have to do lends itself well to maybe a more social study space or a really secluded, more quiet study space. For example, for me, with readings, I cannot be around people. It has to be dead silent if I'm doing a reading. However, for more quantitative things like econ regressions or whatever, I can be in a more social area and help get my energy levels up to be able to do that work there. Additionally, I love study spaces with a lot of open space and with a lot of natural light, just so I don't feel cramped and confined. I really think having a clean space around you helps create an atmosphere for productivity. Along those lines of knowing yourself, I think a lot of people play themselves by trying to listen to music while they do work. And I know there are, of course, playlists that have music that lends itself better to studying, and I do listen to those occasionally. But definitely in high school, I tried to listen to music while I did work all the time, and it felt really unusual to be in silence. But I think it's actually really valuable to learn how to be comfortable in silence and really devote all of your brain's energy towards one thing. And on the other hand, if you do need to listen to something to cancel out noise around you, maybe there's just no way to avoid a loud study space. I really like listening to white noise. That might sound super weird and lame, but there's this website called A Soft Murmur, and you can customize your own type of soothing white noise, whether you want rain sounds, a crackling fire, even simulated coffee shop sounds. You can adjust how much of each noise you want, and I think it's amazing. And that I can listen to while getting readings done. And along the lines of eliminating distractions and that sort of thing, I actually think it's super helpful to schedule my breaks while I study. I try to have really focused spurts, about 20 to 30 minutes, and then after that, I give myself maybe a 5 or 10 minute break doing something that is satisfying. You know, you can have those study breaks that are really, where by the end you're just like, I don't feel any more motivated to get my work done. When it comes to procrastination, it's really helpful to understand what you're procrastinating with. For some people, it might be socialization, where you really feel like your socialization need is not met. For some people, you might distract yourself with getting food, or even just through like watching YouTube videos. I personally don't think any of those things are bad things, and I think that you do need to meet those needs, whether it's some sort of entertainment or socialization or food. But I try to isolate that from my schoolwork, where that is in a nice condensed 5 to 10 minute chunk, and after that I say, okay, I'm really gonna focus for 20 minutes. And this is where I really like having an analog watch. You could set a timer, but for me, timers kind of stress me out, just knowing that there's something ticking down. But being able to just glance at my watch and have that really focused time paired with my satisfying break that rewards me at the end of that focused time, it just helps me get stuff done a lot faster and in a more enjoyable way, knowing that I have a reward at the end of a really focused session. And sometimes I find that even after I've hit my 20 minutes, I'm like so in the groove of something that I just keep going. Additionally, when it comes to focus breaks, if you're really struggling with procrastination in terms of motivation, I think it can actually be really helpful to find a break that is somewhat oriented towards your subject that you're working on, but in a more enjoyable way that reminds you of why you initially started doing it. I know that sounds really cheesy, but I do think it's super important to remember why we subject ourselves to the pain that we do in certain classes. And sometimes you don't have a choice. And I know that there are a lot of requirements at a lot of colleges, but perhaps finding a way to make that subject applicable to what you do want to study can be surprisingly effective. And if more information is not what your brain needs for a break, then get up. Walk around, go on a walk around. I literally go on walks around the library. I'll go just outside, get a breath of fresh air, just change up the position that your body is in to get the blood flowing to your brain. And at the end of the day, after you've been productive, I think just always remember to let yourself rest in your successes and victories. I think it's just super effective in creating like a positive feedback loop for yourself of knowing that you're working and studying really hard for yourself, and that it's something that really only you get to see the benefit of, because at the end of the day, even if your parents want you to get good grades or whatever, they're not the ones receiving them. You know, it really only does a service to you. And I think teaching your body that that is the case is so important. Anyways, those are all of my study tips. I hope you guys are able to take some of these things and start to implement them. Don't beat yourself up if you do not know how to implement it super well initially. It is all habit formation, which takes time. I think they say it takes, what, like 3 weeks to form a habit. But when you do, you will thank yourself so much for being able to use your time really effectively and then being able to have all this extra time, hopefully, to be able to do other things that you want to do. And I think one of the reasons why this is so important to me is that I've realized that yes, college is grades, it's academics, it's learning, but it's so much more than that. And some of the most fruitful parts of my college experience have been the extracurriculars, the social time, obviously like the experience as a whole, and I've learned so much from those as well, but I was only able to take advantage of these opportunities to learn in those spaces because I was really diligent with my time in terms of my academics. So yeah, I hope you guys learned something from this. Thank you again for watching, and thank you so much to Jord Watches for partnering with me in this. And again, if you guys would like to check out some of their watches, they are absolutely beautiful, and if you can get $100 off, that'd be fantastic. So definitely enter yourself in that giveaway, have your friends enter in that giveaway, and the winner of the giveaway will be contacted directly from Jord, so not through me. They're doing it on their own timeline. I'm sure it'll be evident through the giveaway. If you have any specific college related questions or anything, feel free to comment them down below. I love being able to interact with you guys. If you have any study tips, definitely leave them down below for each other to learn from. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Love you guys. Jesus loves you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.